By now, you've probably heard my magic wand story. It's a brand that's been part of my personal journey for more than 20 years. But no matter how many times I sing Magic Wand's praises, I'll never be able to fully capture the story of this incredible brand. Well, now journalist and author Kate Sloan just completed a limited audio series documenting the history and impact that Magic Wand has created over the last 56 years. It's called Making Magic. And the series chronicles Magic Wand's incredible brand story through interviews with nearly 40 experts, performers, business owners, educators, and fans. So I got a sneak preview of the series, and what I loved is that Kate weaves together snippets from all their interviews into this amazing story arc. She covers Magic Wand's journey from appliance store massager to its legendary influence on culture and sexual independence, and it's all just fascinating. The first episodes of Making Magic are available now at makingmagicseries.com or on all popular podcast platforms. Just search for Making Magic or visit makingmagicseries.com today. So last week, we talked about being really intentional about planning out a pleasure-filled year. Do you want to have more orgasms? Do you have fantasies you'd like to try with your partner? Do you just want to enhance intimacy and pleasure in all areas of your life? And I heard from many of you that you need support and ideas for setting your sexual intentions for the new year. Because if we don't write something down and we don't plan it, it's not going to happen. When you fail to plan, you plan to fail. And I don't know about you, but I do not want to fail on having more pleasure this year. So I created this step-by-step guide to help you map and reach your goals. It's for free. It's on the website. It's called the Pleasure Planner. And download it from my site at sexwithemily.com. You can also just search Pleasure Planner or sexwithemily.com/downloads. Super easy to use. It's a fun exercise. You can do it with yourself. You can do it with your partner. And then you're going to have a pleasure map that you can use throughout the whole year. And it's going to definitely make these sex conversations easier. So download your pleasure planner and commit to making this your sexiest year yet. We all want different things in different stages of our life, different ages. But most of us don't evolve. Most of us still have sex like we did in high school.
Into his eyes. They're the eyes of a man obsessed by sex. Eyes that mock our sacred institutions. Bedroom eyes, they call them in a bygone day.
You're listening to Sex with Emily. I'm Dr. Emily, and I'm here to help you prioritize your pleasure and liberate the conversation around sex. I get so many awesome questions from you every day, but I've recently been getting a lot of calls from listeners in their 20s. And so I thought it would be fun to do a show where I pull together some of these questions because first off, they're so great. And when I'm answering them, I can't help but think, God, I wish I knew this stuff in my 20s. I didn't know it. And to be honest, I really didn't know a lot of it in my 30s. So we get into, what you should know before trying anal sex, what to do if you've been cheated on, how to get more confident in the bedroom. And the thing is, this isn't just for people in their 20s, because like I said, I didn't know it. And I find that these are not necessarily questions I only get from people in their 20s, but they just kept coming in. So no matter what your age you're at, you probably need to hear the lesson again, or maybe you're learning it for the first time. Intentions with Emily. For each episode, join me in setting an intention. It really helps because when you're listening, you can think like, what do I want to get out of listening to this episode? How could this help me? It could be, oh, yeah, I want to learn how to be more confident in bed. Well, my intention is to show you, no matter what age you are, it's okay to ask questions and get curious about your pleasure. We are never done learning. Enjoy the show. Let's talk to Chelsea, 26, in California. Hi, Chelsea. Thanks for calling.
Hi, Emily.
Hey.
I want to say, thank you so much for, your podcast. I've been listening to it for years, and you actually helped me get out of an abusive relationship. That's not why I'm calling, but I just want to tell you thank you, and I really appreciate our content.
You're so welcome, Chelsea. So glad I can help. Thank God. Got out of an abusive relationship. That's great.
That was a while ago, but my question now is, I'm in a healthy relationship now, but we started as a kink relationship, and now that I'm healthy and I like graduated out of therapy. I'm just not into it anymore. And my partner still is.
Oh, okay, Chelsea, that is, well, first off, I just want to say congratulations for being 26 years old, getting out of an abusive relationship and actually doing the work and having such self-awareness that you realize that kink worked for you and now you're no longer there. So that's really healthy. So I'm just going to tell you that. And graduating from therapy, you're awesome. I think you just got to have a conversation with him. Like, do you think that he's someone that could be more, that he would be willing to be in a relationship with you?
Yeah.
You talked about it?
We talk about it all the time. And he's like, well, like, will you try? And I was like, yeah. But I just like, I don't know, like, it's not anything like, obviously all the play parties are canceled with COVID and things like that.
Yeah.
So I'm like, well, maybe like, let's just put it on hold until after COVID. And then maybe if I go to a party with you, then I'll like be more interested in it.
Well, wait, so Chelsea, are you saying that so you've been in a kinky, can you explain to me how it's been like pre-COVID?
We met
We need the deets.
on FetLife, and like we're into like rope and like some impact and some sensation, and I've been trying to get him now more into the sensation than like the impact. I think that's the main thing. Is like I just don't like the impact anymore. Is where I used to like it.
Okay, you mean like spanking and discipline impact, like slapping, spanking?
And like those toys that they have, like the I don't know, you get it like sex shops.
Yeah, like the floggers and the paddles and stuff. Yeah, okay, so you graduate from that, but you might still want to vary. So I think it sounds like you just need to explore with him. But what does he say when you bring it up to him? He says no. You said that he's okay with it though. No, he's not.
He still wants to be in a relationship with me. He just like wants me to try to like be interested in it or teach him how I like it. But what I used to like, I don't like anymore.
Oh, okay. Well, Chelsea, let me tell you that the steps for this would be, let's go on an adventure together. Let's explore other ways to play. One of my first tips is to do some research. Get curious about what your options are to play sexually. You'll see what's interesting to you. Watch some, porn or listen to erotica. That's my first step, is to research. And then also you can go to our website, check out the yes, no, maybe list. You could both take that quiz, and it lists literally every sex act you can imagine. Kissing, spanking, cuddling, it has everything on there. And then you could see it's a yes or a no or a maybe. And even if you fill out a bunch of maybes or no's, that's progress, and it might just get your mind going. Like, oh, that sounds interesting. I don't know what that, let me look it up. So a lot of couples are using this as a great tool to like as a jumping off point. So don't beat yourself up that you don't know where you want to go next. I want to congratulate you for knowing that the sex life you're having is no longer working for you. That's so beautiful that you know that. And I would say that your partner sounds like he's on board too, but he doesn't know what you want. But I'll bet if you present new scenarios and new things, he'll be down. He's probably, is he your age as well?
Yeah.
Ours is great. He's 26 years old. It's like this is something I want to impart to everybody, is that we all change sexually. We all want different things in different stages of our life, different ages, but most of us don't evolve. Most of us still have sex like we did in high school. Most of us still have sex like we did before we got married, and if you pay attention and you get curious about sex, you get curious about exploring, then the world opens up to you. So it's okay that you don't know right now. And I would talk to him in that way and say, hey, let's go on an adventure. Because you really like this guy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I do.
Okay. So Chelsea, I feel good about this. I think that you just, we put so much pressure on ourselves that you should come to the table and you should have a whole new plan. But how would you know? How would you know if you haven't explored yet and you've been having sex the same way, with more kink? It's okay to not want kink anymore, to want a variation of kink. Yeah?
Yeah,
So,
I think the list is a great idea because it's like a good launching off point.
it's a fun activity. Get a glass of wine, whatever. Sit together, make a meal, and do the yes, no, maybe list. And then call me back if you're like, hey, I'm not, I'm here every night. So if you're like, okay, well, we did this, but we want different things, or, we want the same things. Let me know how it goes, okay? Just one step at a time.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, bye, Chelsea. Thanks for calling. Appreciate you. Let's talk to Noah, 23, in North Carolina. Hi, Noah.
Hi, how's it going?
Good, Noah. Thanks for calling. What's going on? Talk to me.
Well, I guess I just don't really know where to start exactly. I've been dating a girl for a little over a year now, and we're very much in love. Like, she loves my family, and we've really clicked. We talk about marriage often. We even basically have a date set that we know we want to get married. And we live together. And I've always really tried to be very open with communication about our sex life with her, as far as like being adventurous and like wanting to find out what she likes and what she's into. But she's always been a little bit more closed off. And
Right.
so I've just kind of tried some things, taken some guesses, and tried to like say, hey, we can talk openly about this. Like, I want you to feel comfortable talking to me. And it just gets worse. Like, now we're at the point where she's basically like cut me off. Like, she seems to think that it's something that we both won't enjoy. And she doesn't even like make out with me. If I initiate it, she'll pull away. And otherwise, she brings me gifts. She's so sweet to me. She clearly still loves me, but it's almost like I'm being friend zoned in my own relationship. And literally a few weeks ago, I even surprised her. I drove an hour both ways to get her favorite sushi, and I surprised her with a candlelit dinner and a bottle of sake. And whenever I started to try to initiate something, she got really upset and left the room and got in her pajamas, and just like, that was it.
No, God, you explained that really well. So let me just say thank you for that. And I totally get what you're going through here. And it sounds really, really frustrating. So would you say that you're one of her first sexual experiences, this relationship?
I don't think so. She's actually a bit older than me.
Okay. Like 25.
And yeah.
Yeah, I know it seems older when you're 23, but it's like in your 20s is the time where we hopefully start to explore ourselves. We have more time to figure out what we like. And if she grew up, perhaps, maybe she's never really explored herself before, or she doesn't really know how to talk about sex. Maybe she grew up in a home where it was shamed and it wasn't encouraged to talk about sex. Maybe she doesn't know her own body yet. I mean, people I would say, unless you've been listening to my show for 10 years, or you actively were seeking, 15 years, you were seeking out sex information. I just think it's a sign of she doesn't really know enough about sex. Like maybe she's not as into it because does she have orgasms? Does she have pleasure? Does she masturbate?
I'm starting to question that. I've gone down on her a few times, and she says that she really likes it. And she says that she's never like had someone that was as good at it as me. Like, she seems to enjoy it, but she still is like hesitant to let me do it, and she doesn't really seem to like it. Like, she doesn't seem to like clitoral stimulation a whole lot.
Okay.
And
do you think?
So I haven't really figured that out yet.
Well, Noah, you're not. Well, listen, you're doing everything right, but I think we got to start with the communication aspect here. I'll bet that she just doesn't have a lot of experience with her own body. I hear this I think we hear this every day from young women in their 20s who feel they don't want someone to go down on them. They feel like they're dirty, or their partner won't really want to. They've never had an orgasm. They've never explored their body. Maybe they're holding on to something from childhood, religious shame. Maybe she had trauma. I'm just throwing things out there. No, I don't know. So you're doing everything like right. I'm sure you're being a wonderful boyfriend. And God, I mean, you got me sushi, I'd be in. But there's something going on with her. Do you think that is she on any medications? Is she like on antidepressants or birth control pill?
Not that I'm aware of. She's definitely not on birth control. I'm pretty sure she's not on any antidepressants either. She does seem to have like some insomnia, so she takes melatonin, but that's about
melatonin's pretty safe. So Noah, I don't know if you ever listened to this show before or my podcast. I've got lots of them. A lot of couples listen to that together. Like, I think she just needs to start to hear the language of like, it's totally okay to talk about sex. It is something that, it's our pleasure is our birthright. We all deserve to be sexual beings and to explore ourselves. And it's okay to ask for what we want. And I think that even though I know she's a few years older than you, but 25 still isn't. Listen, I was having sex till I was 35, and then I realized that I was not enjoying it as much, and I wasn't having orgasms, and I was faking. And so she's pretty much where a lot of women are. Because you're thinking, well, I've been masturbating since I don't know how long, I don't know, 16 or 15. It's like, you're like, what? She probably hasn't. I didn't masturbate till I was 25. I didn't even know about it. So what I'm hearing is that she loves you. She wants to be with you. She's doing really sweet things. But this whole sex piece is sort of a really big unknown. It's like a big question mark over her head. A lot of us don't have accurate sex information. We weren't raised with sex ed in schools. The only thing we learn from is porn or someone gossiping about something in high school. And then we think that's true. Like, guys don't really want to go down on you. Maybe she heard that once and thinks she's shameful. It's bad. It's wrong. I'm just kind of throwing out all the things, Noah, but you probably need to unpack together. And so you could get some, go to my website, has some great stuff, sexwithemily.com. You could buy some books. You could just, I know you're asking her what she wants and what feels good, but I'm going to guarantee that she doesn't know. She doesn't know. Sex maybe just feels kind of raw. Because if your brain isn't on board for sex, you could be doing all the right moves, Noah. You could be the best oral master ever. And if her brain is going, oh no, does he want to be there? I'm not sure. Does it feel good? Does it not? She won't have an orgasm. She won't have pleasure because she can't let go because her head is telling her something else. So that's what you got to unpack there. So I think what I recommend always is taking this conversation outside the bedroom. Next time you're having a nice candlelit dinner or, tonight or whenever you want to, just say, I've really been thinking about this. Hey, I just want to kind of talk about, maybe we could go our sex life. I noticed that it seems to me it's getting you upset lately. And I would really like to, help you figure out what's going on and let's talk about it. And I know you said you've said this before, but sometimes we need to say it a few times. If she's had 25 years of a different message about sex, you bringing it up once or twice isn't going to get her on board. You want to be with somebody who knows what they don't know, who's like, I get it. You're right. I have some shame around it. Let's work on it. But if she just keeps shutting you down the next 6 months when you keep trying to talk about it, then you have some more information. But I don't know what she's up against.
Yeah, absolutely.
So.
I've tried to a few times, but she also will come up with excuses sometimes, or she'll just get upset. But I don't know what the best way to communicate with her is. Sometimes she'll say that she's depressed or that maybe it'll hurt when we have sex, or she just comes up with different things.
Well, maybe
and
she has
I
pain.
always try to offer solutions.
Well,
I
Noah,
tried to get her to go to the doctor about it.
Oh, okay. So does she have pain? She's not. She probably is having pain.
Yeah, I've tried to encourage her to go to the doctor about it, but I have not had any success yet.
Has she told you she has pain?
She said she doesn't really know for sure. She wonders if she has a cyst or something, but she also has admitted that it might just be in her head. And she's also said that she thought that she's had hormonal imbalances before, but then the doctor said no. I'm not entirely convinced. And then sometimes she just says that she hasn't seen her. She moved here from somewhere else. So she says she hasn't seen her friends and she's just upset about that. And that's why she doesn't want to be intimate with me. But then even less encouraging is the fact that we're planning on moving to an entirely different city in the next couple of years. So I don't see that getting better.
No, I would work on this with her, Noah. Yeah.
One other thing too, I think I misheard you. She's actually 31. So she is a little bit older than me.
Okay.
And
she is a little bit older.
She dated someone that was much older than her at one point too. So I don't know.
Huh. Well, Noah, yeah. Okay. So she's 31, but still, honestly, do you know if she's ever had any trauma?
She may have. She hasn't been super open with me about that. I do know that she's had some abusive relationships in the past. So I wonder if something like that went down.
Yep.
But I don't really know how to approach that subject gently.
I think, yeah. I mean, Noah, you sound really gentle and really loving. So I think just saying I really care about you and I want to help you unpack this. And she probably needs to hear to say it's not just because I want to have more sex with you, which you do, but you could say it's not that. It's not like I'm trying to get you to have sex with me right now. Even if we need to take a break for months while you figure this out, I'm fine with that. But you want to see her on the path. But also 80% of women have pain at some point in their lives with sex, and they feel bad about that too. It could be something called vaginismus, where every time maybe it's a tampon or a penis or anything enters her, that could be painful too. And then she needs to go to a pelvic floor physical therapist. I think it's just this conversation because you're a 23-year-old man, and you are right, Noah, to call in about this because there's a lot of important things in a relationship, but sex is a pillar. Sex is our sexual health and wellness is a pillar of our overall well-being. And when our sex life isn't going well, it's hard to have the relationship go well. So this is going to take some unpacking and some listening, but I don't think it's that she doesn't like you. It sounds, everything you're saying, it's like it's either pain or trauma or shame. And that's what you got to tell her that, you're here to help her, or if she should go to therapy, because everyone needs therapy at some point, I believe. It really helps.
I believe you too.
Hmm.
Well, thank you so much.
Of course, Noah, I'm here. Let me know how it goes, because I will be here for you.
All right. Well, thank you very
Okay,
much,
Noah,
Emily.
have a great night. Thanks for calling. I appreciate you.
You too.
You guys, it is not easy to have these conversations. It could be religion. It could be pain. It could be a message you had growing up. Because I hear this every time, and I don't just hear it from 23-year-olds. I hear it from 50-year-olds. I'm going to say it's more women I hear from men who are with women, and they say, my wife, I want to spice it up. It's been 20 years, but she won't talk about it. And it's sort of the same thing. Have you ever talked about it before? Does she have pain? Does she feel it's okay to ask for what she wants? Sex is a journey. It is not a destination. We don't just learn everything. Even if we had excellent sex ed and we knew all the stuff about pleasure and safety, we still would have to explore what we like. I mean, think about how you developed like your palate for foods you like. Like, when you go into a restaurant, what kind of, what flavors you're ordering, what food you like. Do you want pasta? Do you want pizza? Do you want chicken? Like, maybe you never eat chicken. So you're like, I will not have chicken. But because of a lifetime of eating food, you figure out what you're into. Your sex life is exactly the same. And if you haven't tasted as many different flavors, you are not going to know. And then on that, you put shame or you put trauma. Maybe she's afraid of hurting her partner's feelings. Maybe she's like, Noah, I don't want to hurt your feelings. So if I tell you that I have pain, then you're going to leave me. I mean, there's a lot of different things, but we have to clear out all these roadblocks to even getting to sex. Like, that's what I'm talking about. There's roadblocks. That's what I'm saying, that no matter what age you are, I can't just say, well, download the yes, no, maybe list, buy your partner a toy. You can't lead with that stuff. You got to clear the cobwebs of the communication. You got to get into it. You got to and every relationship's going to have this. And the older you get and the longer you're with someone, it gets a lot harder to talk about your sex life. But I say, start now. Start tonight. When we come back, we'll talk to Elizabeth, whose boyfriend keeps cheating on her. Let's talk to Elizabeth, 27 in Connecticut. What's going on? Hi.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
So again, just wanted to say I love your show.
Thank you.
So essentially, I met my boyfriend last July. We had met on a social media. We met on Tinder actually. And, in the beginning, it was more of like a sexual relationship, and we were both comfortable with that because I just got out of a long relationship. So I didn't necessarily want anything that was, too crazy. Things kind of progressed with him, and, we did end up starting to date. And I believe it was like February. We went away together for this very romantic trip to Boston, and I come back home. Monday morning, I get a message on Facebook that's basically like, blah, 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 my boyfriend. And I'm like, wait, what? I was completely
And it was
taken
his
back.
picture, right? She was talking about your boyfriend.
Yes.
She's like, she called him my boyfriend.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, long story short with that, we ended up, breaking up for a while. This is when quarantine had first started. So he was by himself. I was by myself, just sulking in my thoughts. So, after a few months, I kind of decided, let me give him a chance to kind of rectify the situation and talk about it. Because I had also been in the same situation with my ex-partner. Her and I were in that same kind of predicament towards the end of our relationship. So I understood and I empathized where he came from. And I knew if it were me, I would want a second chance. So, we did all that. His one of his really good friends, like I would say one of his best friends, had passed away in late August. So after we had gotten back together, we were living together at this point again. And his best friend had passed away, and I just noticed a big change in his personality, and I noticed that he was starting to act very different. One night, I just had just the idea of something just didn't feel right. So I ended up going through his phone, which normally I don't ever do. I have no reason to do that unless, there is an actual reason that presents itself. So I did. I found some stuff with a phone number with the area code that was actually from Connecticut, and he was from New Jersey. So I was like, this is really weird. So I confronted him about it. He ended up coming clean. So it was a girl that I actually went to high school with, surprisingly enough. And I guess they had met up and they slept together. And, immediately after when I found out, it was a big blowout. We did have like a big argument about it. So fast forward to today, we are I'm almost like embarrassed to say it, but we are still together. We've done a lot of talking. Being in quarantine together has forced us to really like reevaluate our relationship, what it is that both of us want, what it is we both need, and what we want from each other. So we've had a lot of really good conversations. And I will say, as a partner, he does want to do better, and I think he does want to rectify what he does. But he has this serial past, and I'm just wondering, like, is there a way for us to move on? What do we do to like move forward? We talk all the time. We are very open with each other. We do have those great conversations where we're, I believe, starting to build trust again. But it's like, is it possible to like move forward?
It's a great question. I mean, Elizabeth, I only think that people change if they want to change. So he can't just say, I'm not going to cheat again. He doesn't know why. He's got an impulse. It's probably intimacy issues. You get too close and it's hard for him. Like is he your age as well? Is he also 27?
He's 29, so he's a little bit older.
Yeah.
He's a long relationship type of guy. Usually I get sick of people after about 6 months or so. So for me to be with him for as long as I have been, to me means that, I do have these very strong feelings for him, but it's just for me, I don't know really like where to move forward with this situation, because it's like, I don't want to hold it against him. And I do truly believe that he does want to change, because his actions since, August have really like taken a big turn. It's a 180. I do see that, and I do believe that. And, I know actions speak louder than words, but like I said, we have all these conversations, and he is there for me, and he supports me in everything that I do. And he only lifts me up. Like, he only brings good into my life, except for that one issue, has happened twice now.
Yeah. Well, that's and like, I feel like does he tell you why it happened? Did he say?
With his ex-girlfriend, I think they were just at a point where, they were trying to, it was a long distance thing at that point, because he was living in Connecticut for work. And that's actually like, how we were able to meet on Tinder. With the girl that I knew from, my hometown, he says, and, I hope to believe that it's, the tragedy of losing a loved one, because he's had a lot of loss in his life. And I think that he's just not dealing with it. And then it's, leaking out into, other parts of his life, for example, our relationships,
Right. I mean, I don't think that you just rebuild trust because time goes by. I think you're very forgiving. I just think that there's usually something else. Like, do you guys want to get married? Do you want to be monogamous? Have you guys talked about what you both want?
Yeah. I mean, we've had very serious conversations about, marriage and children and just where we want to go with our lives together. It's not like this is, just a little fling. We've been doing this for, almost a year and a half now, almost going on 2 years now. And it's like, we've gotten to that point. He even says to me all the time, he's like, I've told you things that I have literally never told another person before. And, you obviously want to believe that that's true, but, he's told me some very deep, intimate things that you don't just like share with anybody,
Well, but I don't think that means that he's not going to cheat. I'm going to be honest, just because he's telling you things. To me, it's more like, does he fantasize about being with other people? Does he really think you're the last woman he's going to sleep with for the rest of his life? Is he the last man you're going to sleep with for the rest of your life? Listen, there are statistics that show this. I am not making this up, that when someone starts a new relationship by cheating, they're going to cheat on you. They're going to cheat on the next part, the next part, the next part, until they figure out maybe they just don't want to be monogamous. Maybe there's someone who wants an open relationship. Maybe he still has some stuff he wants to try out. I'm sure it's not about you being with your friend from high school. I'm sure she wasn't she's not like better. It was just something, it was variety. And you guys were in your 20s, and a lot of people just kind of want to, maybe he wants his cake and eat it too. He's like, well, I really like being with you. So I don't know, but I can't guarantee, it sounds like it's been good for a few months, but it was good for a few months last time as well. And the fact that he's telling you deep, intimate things doesn't mean that he's not going to cheat when the impulse, when something happens.
Of course.
There's an impulse.
Right.
So that's what I'm telling you.
So,
and if you really, I recommend couples therapy. I know you might think you've been together a year and a half, but even just going a few times could be helpful. I'd have a hard time trusting right now.
So we've had conversations about, going to therapy together. Unfortunately, both of us had lost our jobs during the pandemic. So it's left us kind of in a position where we don't have insurance to, go to do those things. So we're stuck, kind of at home, just talking things out and, going day by day, pretty much. I have very strong feelings for him. And like I kind of said before, when it hits that 6 month mark, I'm usually like,
I'm okay, but with him, I do feel that strong connection, and I do want this to be like my last relationship. And, he's expressed the same thing. It's just, so hard to obviously know what the other person's thinking. You almost want some way to read their mind, but obviously that's not possible.
Right. Well, there's just a little bit more like understanding, like doing some deep dive into like, what are your values? What does the future look like? What's your views around money? Do you both want kids? What kind of sex do you like having? Like check out our yes, no, maybe list at sexwithemily.com and download that. Like start having conversations about real things so you can start to figure out, are we people that who really could stay together and like the same kind of
compatible,
things?
right?
Yeah. Are you compatible? Right. I mean, I think that's what you got to figure out right now. Not just sharing things about your past. And it's great that he trusts you because you can make excuses. It's about the ex was already over and that this one was because his friend died. But I don't know. Like when my friend died, I'd want to go towards the person that was giving me love and support.
I agree.
So I think these are all real concerns.
I think he just needs his own therapy. I think, I have things that I want to work on myself, but in order for us to be happy together, I think we need to be happy separately, Well,
so that's true too. Maybe you
trying to juggle all that.
Yeah. And it's a lot. I think if you could definitely get some kind of therapy right now, I think it's always helpful to have therapy, especially in your 20s or when you're not in like a huge crisis. It's a good time to go. I'm trying to think of if there's a good book you guys could do together. Oh, the book is called Coming Together by Celeste and Danielle. It's a sex therapy book, Coming Together.
Okay.
And it's a really good book. It's about embracing your core desires, sexual fulfillment, and long-term compatibility. And it's a book about sex. I mean, it's mostly sex compatibility, but I'm going to be honest with you. You're probably going to find out some things about it. I think that's actually where a lot of couples fall short because they haven't talked about sex and then they get married and 20 years go by and they realize they don't even like the same kind of sex. So maybe do something like that. Once a week, get together.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Okay, thank you so much for your help and just kind of talking me through it. I appreciate it.
Yeah, of course. Let me know. I'm here every night, so you can call me back, ask questions. Just take that next step. Thanks for calling. Miley, 22 in San Francisco. Hi, Miley. Thanks for calling. What's going on?
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
I just had a couple questions about the drawbacks of anal. I was just wondering what the... if there were any negative consequences of it, and if you had it too frequently, what you should look out for, anything you should keep an eye on when you're doing that sort of sex.
Great question, Miley. Great question, because there's dangers to anal sex if you do it incorrectly. And that's why it gets such a bad rap for being so painful. And so if you just have no warm up and your partner just sticks it in, I assume, are you with a penis? A man, are you talking about for you?
Yes,
okay,
I
got
was.
it. Okay, so here's the thing is that it's all about these few things that are the most important. The most important are that you're relaxed, that you're breathing, Miley, that you're already turned on. Maybe you've already had a clitoral orgasm. Maybe he's already gone down on you. You're already like making out, or maybe you're already even having sex, penetrative sex. And then you want to make sure that you are in a comfortable position, rolled over, and then you use a ton of lube. Like my best tips are like use a lot of lube. I recommend a silicone lube. Pure makes silicone lube that's incredible. It's called Pure Analyze, actually. It's an anal lube. He could also try with a finger first. Make sure that his hands are clean and nails are trimmed and all those things. But he could also just start teasing you on the outside. But what happens is a lot of times, like the anus is not self-lubricating, so it could be dry when you stick something in. So you just got to make sure that you do all the prep.
Okay, yeah. Well, my follow-up question was going to be which lube do you recommend, but thank you for covering that on the first round.
Of course, yeah. Well, because it's all about lube, Miley. You're not allowed to have anal sex without lube. I won't let you.
Okay, well, duly noted.
Okay.
Thank you.
Of course. Let me know how it goes. Okay. Anything else?
Maybe I'll call in next week.
Do call in next week, but don't be put.
Those are my only two questions. Thank you, Emily.
Good. I got you, of course. Thanks for calling, Miley. Appreciate you. We're going to take a quick break, but stick around for my call with Hannah, who's looking to have a threesome. We're going to talk to Hannah, 27 in Indiana. We're going to help you, girl. Hannah, what's up? Thanks for calling.
Hi, Emily.
Hi.
So nice to talk to you.
You too.
So I have a question.
about threesomes and how to get that started with my husband. We've been married for 4 years, and we've always talked about a threesome as a fantasy. But we have two main concerns. One, we've only ever had sex with each other because we've only ever dated and been with each other. So we're kind of nervous about, I guess, having that sexual interaction with another person. And then
Makes
two,
sense.
we are parents. We have an almost 1-year-old, and I know it's kind of, people don't really think of parents as like sexual beings, even though they had to have sex to make the baby.
Right. Well, we do,
yeah, being like engaging in that type of behavior, I guess, is looked down on. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we don't look down on you. We celebrate you, Hannah. You are awesome. You've been with your husband, for a few years. You have a young child, and you're still sexually curious, and you guys want to expand your sexual repertoire. I think this is amazing. We all support you in this mission. So the first thing is, you said that you have been together and you've talked about it. Have you sort of role played it, or you talked dirty about it, or has it just been, hey, maybe we should try this sometime? How far along?
Openly as like a fantasy, and I've actually just started listening to your podcast within the last month or so. So we're starting to talk more of like dirty talking about it, and kind of like experimenting that way. And like making sure we both be like actually comfortable with the situation. So we've gotten that far. And then we've also like started to try to look on like apps and stuff, but we haven't really had a lot of success. I'm just getting a feel for what's out there, I guess.
Okay, so first off, that's great, because I would say this is something that you want to go slow with a partner. You want to talk about it. What would it look like? Who is the third? What's the gender? What's off limits? You got to set boundaries and stuff. And then finding a third. Yeah, I mean, it would say that you guys are pretty, you're moving along at a nice pace. We don't have to rush this. What do you guys think about finding a third? There are some great websites out there or apps. What do you think, Anne and Sarah? What would you have to say? How do we help Hannah here in Indiana? And she's a kid.
I think I might start with building on the sexy talk and dirty talk aspect of it. Like, start really figuring out what is the root of that fantasy and what do you want to get out of it. And maybe try a little bit of role play between the two of you to explore, like, who do you want to be in your threesome? Who do you want to be as a couple? Do you want to be really different than you are in your day-to-day life? Because you can easily start incorporating that into your play, and that will help you build a little bit of confidence when it comes to playing with another partner. If you really are clear, this is what we want to get out of it. This is what we're interested in exploring, whether it's like actually the sex or it's more the dynamic between the two of you or the curiosity around the new person. I definitely would encourage you to take the dirty talk one next level and start exploring some of those dynamics as you're searching for the new partner or partners.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say you still got a little bit of time you guys can play with this idea. Make sure that it is right. Yeah.
Yeah, and we're definitely not in a rush. It's just something that we've really recently, within the last year, started talking about more seriously.
Okay.
And I know it's a very common fantasy too.
It is. I'd say it's the most common, one of the most common. And women too, though, really. I think that men talk about it more, but if you really drill down, a lot of women have this fantasy as well. And then just let me say this about having a kid. I think that, in our, professions here, I celebrate that. I love, that you're parents and that you're also realizing how important it is to stay sexually healthy and to communicate. And I think that you get a babysitter for the night. Your parents someone would come watch the kids. So I don't look down on this at all. I think it's actually, you're setting yourself up for success in the sex department.
Perfect.
For
that makes me feel better. You never know.
Yeah, no, I'm here for you, Hannah. So see how that goes. Kind of play with the dirty talk the next few weeks. You can call me back. I'll be here. And I'm so glad you found the podcast. And thanks for calling into the show. I appreciate it. All right, Hannah, have a great night. Thank you so much for calling. Corrine, 22 in D.C., has a question. Hi, Corrine. What's going on? How can I help you?
Hey, Emily. Hi. Okay, I just have a little teensy problem that's kind of big. So I've been talking to this guy for a couple of months, and, we decided to do the do, and he's not really good at the giving head situation. So I don't know how to, I felt like I tried to direct him, Like, I don't feel like he was still picking it up. I just, I wonder how I could better probably teach him.
It's a great
Get to know
question
my
because this is
body and
important. Well,
everything.
here's the thing, Corinne. Here's the thing. Is he your age as well? Is he 22?
He is 22.
Okay.
Actually 21. So
Okay. Yeah. Does he want to please you? Like, do you think he wants to get good at it? Is he trying?
Yeah, he is trying. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So that's good because there's some guys who are like, nope, I'm not into it. It's not my thing. So we know he wants to try. Have you had good oral sex before?
So that's the thing. I haven't had a lot of it, no.
Right. I was going
Actually,
to tell you that
most
listen, and I don't want this to be an unpopular, I don't often just say things like this, but when you're 22, 21, you haven't had as much experience. It's a skill. It's a skill. And it takes different women and different experiences to kind of know what you're doing. And I don't think I had great oral times like in my 30s. So like, I'm just telling you that most people don't know. Every woman's body is a little bit different. But do you have orgasms on your own? Or pleasure?
Do I have orgasms on my own? Yeah. Yeah, when I'm by myself.
Do you masturbate?
I do. Yes.
Oh, okay. So you know
But
what feels...
like I don't use any toys. But
oh, that's okay. You don't have to use toys, but do you have an orgasm? Have you had one?
I do, yes.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Amazing. So do you like touch your clitoris? Do you rub yourself? Do you know what you do when you're touching yourself?
Probably just a finger in. Mm-hmm.
Inside. Okay. Awesome. That's a good step. That's a
Yeah.
good start. So the first thing that's important is just to go slow, because I feel like a great like overall oral sex tip if you're going down on a vulva would be to get a comfortable position and then just start to tease and like lick around the clitoris, maybe like tease your thighs and sort of not go right for the clitoris and start like, munching away at it and aggressively. That I think for many women it's like a lighter touch. And it's a build up and it's slow and it's sort of like making out with your mouth, but they're sort of making out with your vulva, external part of your vagina. Like you could even show him what you do when you masturbate, like how you touch yourself to bring yourself to orgasm. A hot thing to do is to have him watch, like you do it. So you could also do mutual masturbation where you're both masturbating and getting yourselves off, and then it's really hot to watch each other, and then also you are learning, kind of he's learning by watching you what you like. And so
oh my God, yeah, that's a great idea.
Yeah, so that's a great thing to do, and I think that it's experimenting and actually asking him too and saying, is it okay if I give you direction, like when you're doing it, and you guys could sort of learn together.
Okay, Emily. Yeah, let me check that out.
All right, Corinne. And now, so if you go to sexwithemily.com, we've got a lot of great tips there for you. But I would start with some of those and just be patient with them. I love that he wants to try.
Right. No, thank you so much, Emily.
Oh, my God, you're so welcome. Let me know how it goes up. I'm here every night, okay? So if you need anything, I got you. Oral sex is an important skill that we all need to cultivate, I believe. All right. Thanks, Corinne. Great call. I think that's something that you want to get good at. You want to get good at paying it. And the thing is not like you just one day get a badge of honor that you're the best at oral. It's different with every partner. Like what I just mentioned is it's experimenting with different bodies. And so then when you're with someone new, you kind of know to pay attention to the way that, they react when you touch them in different places. You can look at their face. You can kind of tell when they're getting aroused and turned on. But you have to learn that by doing. Let's talk to Carly, 20 in California. Hi, Carly. Thanks for calling.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great.
I'm calling because me and my ex-boyfriend have kind of been in the process of getting back together, but we live this long distance, so we've kind of been trying to figure out how that looks like. And just recently this week, we decided that it would be best if we did an open relationship, and this is after we had both actually been physical with other people the weekend before. So we kind of just thought this is probably what's best for us. And so I was kind of just hoping to get some advice on like how is the best way to go forward with an open relationship. It's my first time ever doing anything like this. And kind of like how much weight should I be putting on stuff I'm doing with other people who aren't my boyfriend?
Well, yeah, Carly, it's a great question. How long have you guys been together?
We dated for probably on and off like a year total. And then we broke up the beginning of the summer and have been talking and kind of seeing each other more often since like in August or September.
Okay. And then how long distance? He's moving out of town or you're moving? He's moving?
Yeah, we're about 6 hours apart.
Okay. So here's the thing about open relationships. It takes a lot of communication and a lot of boundary setting. And most couples learn on the job sometimes, like, oh, well, that made me jealous. I didn't want to hear about this hookup or that hookup.
Yeah.
So you have to learn. You have to be really great communicators. So your question is, how much should you emphasize the other person? I mean, I think, you mean how much time should you give another person if he's your primary partner?
Yeah,
That's what we call
kind of how much time, how much of like my emotional time and like stuff like that too should I be like putting on other things I'm doing with other people?
Well, I think it's a case by case basis, but I don't know, how long are you guys going to be living in separate cities for? Like, do you know that eventually you'll be in the same place again?
It's kind of indefinite because I'm still in school and he's not.
Okay.
So it's kind of an indefinite situation on when we would ever be living in the same city.
So, Carly, what is it about an open relationship that's appealing to you? Because my thing is, like, you're 20, you're in college. Like, that's such a good time to explore and be with other people without having to put strict boundaries on it. Like, oh, I can't go too... Because it's hard sometimes, Carly, to say, like, you may meet someone and sleep with them a few times and be like, oh, wow, I'm catching feelings. Like, I kind of feel that this could be something. But then you got to restrain it because there's a guy who's... Because at your age, you know what I mean? Like, it's harder to maintain these kind of relationships, I think, and maybe not always worth it because, I mean, are you looking to get married and settle down and have kids in the next year?
No.
Okay.
No, definitely not.
So I get the feeling of, okay, I'm just going to be honest. Yeah, like, I feel like you can get the feeling of he's the one, I'm going to miss him, and I've never felt this before, and it feels great. We want to keep it open. And I don't know. I just think there's something about being your age and you're in college and you're meeting people. And like, we change so much in our 20s that I would say this is a good opportunity for you to experiment and be with other people. And maybe it's not open as much as it is just when he comes to town, you see each other. But then you're spending all your time on the phone, you're FaceTiming all day, you're texting back and forth, and then you're not getting to be present and be with your friends and meet other people. College is a precious time for that.
That's true. Yeah, you're right.
So that's what I think. Like, if you were my niece or something, which you could be, I'd be like, that's what I would tell you. I would be like, and I would tell myself, I had a long distance relationship my freshman year of college. And I still go back on that. And I don't have a lot of regrets. Like, I love the relationship. He was great. But I remember being so preoccupied with, like, every other weekend, I'd go to his college, he'd go to mine. And I thought, I wish I just kind of stayed put and really got to be with my people. And because it doesn't last. Like, if I could never be with someone I was with when I was 25, I'm a different person. Or 20. That's my advice for you, Carly. It's a lot of work being unless it could be totally open and flexible, like without a label, like you're going to see them and they will, and he'll agree to like, well, let's just kind of be loose about this. We won't have strict rules around it. But when we see each other, it's meant to be and we feel good, we'll hook up.
Yeah. Okay.
That's my advice.
Okay. Thank you so much.
Of course, Carly. Have a great night. Thanks for calling.
You too. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye. That's it for today's episode. See you on Tuesday. Thanks for listening to Sex with Emily. Be sure to like, subscribe, and give us a review wherever you listen to the podcast. And share this with a friend or partner. Believe me, if you got something out of it, they will too. We release shows on Tuesdays and Fridays, and look out for a bonus episode every now and then. Find me on Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. It's all at Sex with Emily. And I've been told I give really good newsletter. So sign up at sexwithemily.com and don't forget to check out our blogs. If you want to talk to me, ask your questions about your sex life, dating, or relationships, email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com, or call into my SiriusXM show Monday through Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. Pacific, and call me, 888-94-STARS. That's 888-947-8277. Get a free 30-day trial at sexwithemily.com/SXM. You can watch my masterclass on masterclass.com/Emily Morse. Was it good for you? Email me, feedback@sexwithemily.com.